Welcome to Sessions. I know we do this every year, so for those who don't know me, my name is Jash. I'm the head of marketing at LegitFit. And this year we thought we'd do a little bit different. We'll get someone from our own team to talk about how we look at retention and why we think it matters and how we can help you guys with your studios to improve your retention rates as well. So the first question there is, why does it matter? And there's a lot of studies in the space where having good retention strategies can help grow your business significantly. Harvard Business Review studies that with strong client communication, you can grow retention by 20% as well. So our focus for today is on two plays. So we have play one, which is going to be taken over by Shane, which is talking about communication and how you can, without losing your evenings to WhatsApp. Retention two is more talking about the nurture sequences and how you can bring people back in, nurture new leads that are coming into the studio. There'll be real examples, some practical takeaways. It's 30 minutes. It's not too long. Any questions you guys have, put it in the chat, and we can get to it at the end. Another study by Ursa said a 5% increase in retention can get a 90% increase in profits. That's huge. It's a small change, which can give a massive improvement to the overall business as well. That's why we think retention is so important, and we chose retention as the topic of discussion for today. Before we get started, there's a little poll that I have to basically get what is the biggest challenge for retention for you guys. So if you're going to just scan this QR code and just choose an option, or just say the option, either or. So a small group here. So if you don't want to scan the QR code, you can also say which is your biggest challenge. That helps us, gives us some insights as how we can help you guys as well. And it also ties into what we're going to talk about next.
Hopefully people watching on playback as well will scan it and include them and check in the week.
And to note as well, I'll send the recording after the call, so it'll come in tomorrow or Monday at the latest. There's a little pack that we've created as well, talking about all of this, including the stuff that we have on the slide, so you'll get all of it at the end. So don't worry about taking notes, you will have it. All right, thank you very much. I see communication is the biggest challenge so far, so we'll keep you updated on how this poll goes for everyone else watching back as well. But over to you, Shane.
Excellent, better unmute myself first. So communication, I think, is something that we massively undervalue. We are a service industry, so therefore we should be dealing with people on a direct basis by and large. In a lot of cases, we're dealing with groups of anywhere up to 150 members. If we're looking at more, we're probably going to be more of an open gym facility. So like John, you might be dealing with a bit more than the 150, might go up to even 300 at that point. But I think regardless of like who it is that we look after, we just want to make sure that they're looked after properly, appropriately, timely. So there's multiple different ways we can look at that communication, because it depends on who that communication is with. So that's going to be what we're kind of going to dive into, really. We use the term of like without losing your evenings to WhatsApp, and how do we communicate people in that regard. A lot of people that do intro offers or front end offers that don't have it systematically set up, they end up making sales calls, and that's absolutely fine. There's absolutely no issue with that. It works for a lot of models, but it's not necessarily something that everybody does. But for those that do it, they might find themselves on the phone 10 o'clock at night. So that's kind of what we're going to dive into. So let's go into that first slide. So essentially, with the main problem with this really is that the communication with clients ends up being quite chaotic, because yourselves, you've probably, if I was to ask, you probably have a lot of different channels that people are contacting you in. You've probably got Instagram DMs, maybe Facebook messages, you have WhatsApp messages, potentially WhatsApp groups, depending if you've created one with your members or not. You have email, voice notes, and you get all of those different times of the day, which is definitely chaotic, and it can be quite annoying at times if you don't have a potentially a work phone or anything like that. But that chaos can kind of look a little bit different depending on who's messaging you. And I think that's kind of the key point. So it depends who's actually trying to reach out to you. So let's dive into that. So we have a difference between like leads and members. Like when we have leads coming in, we're thinking of them as potential clients. So what do they expect? Expect speed. And they're essentially deciding whether or not to buy from you. And if they're deciding whether or not to buy from you, oh, forgot to change the slide, great. But if they're trying to decide who they're buying from, they're going to do that based on who responds to them first. So if I was sitting here in the evening and I was like, I'm going to join this facility, oh, there's two within relative distance of my home, I'm going to write into both. Generally speaking, it's whoever responds first, that's the one that they're going to join. Yeah, speed to lead really is a thing in that case. So we do want to be accessible, we want to be responsive and helpful. So that's when we're talking about those kind of leads. But that can quickly spiral to a version of like always being on, kind of that sales mode. Whereas members, on the other hand, members need consistency. They don't need instant replies. It really doesn't apply to members because we already have that kind of relationship with them, but they do need structure. So the way in which they reach out to you, it just needs to be consistent, reliable, and replied to in a timely manner. But in doing so, and by contextualizing that with them, it means that they're not going to have to chase you. And there's nothing worse than a member coming up and reminding you. It's like, oh, I asked, could you do this for me? And then you're like, oh, no, I completely forgot. And then you just feel silly. And now the member feels it's undervalued, and that's not what we want. So when it all runs through the same kind of channels, the lines can end up blurring. So we end up, what I mean is like we end up treating leads like members and members like leads, and instantly replying to everybody. So the real actual leads that we're trying to get in, they potentially can get buried between all those day-to-day regular messages, which again can be frustrating for them and frustrating for you, especially if you're paying for marketing. And then on top of that, it's like you end up kind of like resenting it because it ends up just being a lot of noise, and there's no real clear boundary between what's actually work and going to benefit your business versus what's your personal time, personal life. So in short, it's just there's no intentional communication model. So what I really want to do is provide clarity around how we can potentially approach it and what that kind of looks like for people. But just in terms of why it really matters and how that relates even into retention, which is, I think, the main point of this, is that retention and growth both rely on clear communications. Again, we're in that service industry. It's a two-way communication. So members need to be able to speak to us as clearly as we're speaking to members, but that does rely on different types of communication. So like I said, for leads, speed matters, quick, frictionless replies. That's what's going to help close sales. You know, even if that's just a point of view of somebody coming to our website, easily finding what we want or what they want to purchase, that makes a big difference for them to be able to click that link, go straight to a portal and purchase. That is the same idea as that phone call or speed to lead. It's just making it easy and accessible for them, because if they message you, a delayed message could mean a lost client, you know, and that's really the difference. So for members, on the other hand, it's reliability. That's what matters. They want steady, predictable contact that continues that already existing trust. And it's not a case, they don't expect you to be there 24/7 ready to respond, but it's about being dependable and clear. So setting expectations with those members, you know, because I guarantee you all get messages on, like, whether it is SMS, WhatsApp, or whatever, you know, because you never set a clear boundary at the very beginning. And that's kind of where this communication gets lost. So when we blur those two worlds, you end up kind of a bit burnt out or trying to maintain that sales mode all the time, which ends up being, again, frustrating. Or members don't know where to message you. So it's like, how do we make that more clear to them? And then you end up dropping the ball, potentially missing leads or leaving clients feel ignored, which is the last thing we want to do. So again, it's just to touch on, it's like, because we have different types of facilities joining this call, but also different types of facilities that are going to watch this back. So it is going to be different for open gyms versus Pilates versus small group studios and everything in between. The overarching point really is to provide clarity and ease for leads to apply or to sign up, to make that easy for them in terms of that communication, and making it really clear to members how they can communicate with you. So I think there are generally going to be two types of, I think my connection went for a second. And there we're back. So I generally think there are two types of owner, let's say. Neither of these are wrong. These are just from my perspective and having looked at different ways to manage facilities. So the first type is really the one system, please. You know, they want everything in one place. So what this really means, and simply put, it's like, what is a system? Well, a system is a group of parts that work together to actually do something. So the point is that they want everything pointing in one direction, such as email or a client initiated sign up. Yeah. Because if we think about it, when we're talking about like smaller groups or anything like that, they might want to push everything towards email, because that makes things really clear for the prospective client. It's like, how do I get in touch? Oh, well, I don't need to go try their Instagram, their Facebook, this, that, the other. It's like everything points to the same direction. Their Instagram bio points towards their website, where there's a contact form. When they're on the website, everything like join now, all those buttons can lead to the same place. And that's what I mean by kind of consistency there. So that's how we can manage leads coming into those types of places. But the same thing can be done for the likes of a Pilates studio, which, Laura, you do really well on your website. And I've highlighted that to you before. It's a case of like, if you click onto Laura's website, you can sign up very easily. So that makes it perfect for new people that want to sign up. They know exactly where to go. They know what button to click, and it takes them to a place where they can simply purchase. So that just means more control. It means more consistency and really clear boundaries, you know, from that perspective. So when we're talking about the leads in that, it's like directing everybody through that single entry point, just to clarify, whether that's a purchase page, an appointment page, or an inquiry form, any of those. But that just means nothing gets lost once you've decided which way it's going. And then for members, it's when you communicate to that new member. So when they first sign up as a member, it's telling them exactly how you want them to communicate with you. So it's like, message me in the LegitFit app on the one-to-one, if that's how you want them to do it, right? But as an example, you could message on one-to-one, and you can literally say to them, it's like, well, that's how we're going to be able to look after you properly and keep all the info and the back and forth in one place, rather than having email, WhatsApp, and all the other versions. So it really is a case of like handling all support and updates. Then you can put those in LegitFit, and at least that way, you know, you're broadcasting all the important information to like one central place during work hours on a desktop or mobile. But at least it separates so that you're not getting home in the evening and then be like, oh, I better send out a WhatsApp group message to update them on this. It just keeps everything really clear and concise. Again, down to clear communication. So it really gives you one inbox, kind of like one routine in ways that you communicate, and one place to check as well, which is super helpful. So that means essentially no WhatsApp chaos late in the evening. You can keep that personal. So no late night replies. The next type, which is a little bit more complicated for some, but some people thrive on it. I've seen a lot of people do really well on this, but again, it's different for each person. So for type 2, it's like reach me anywhere. These are people that just thrive on accessibility. It's part of their brand. You know, it's really, really simple. They allow people to message them wherever and whenever they want. And that's totally okay. But again, it's for you to provide or to decide on what type of owner you are. Whether it is somebody that's going to be like, oh no, one system please, this is the direction I want to go in, and I work during work hours, your work hours, whatever they might be. Or is it a case of they can reach out to you anywhere, anytime, and get answers? Yeah. So whether that is a lead or member, that they can contact you in that way. But like when you think about it, if that is part of your brand is saying we're really responsive, and that responsiveness is part of the value proposition that we offer. So if that's something, that's absolutely perfect. Again, if it just works for you, but you can still use a base of communications to send out updates and to touch base with members. So you can still have those two separate things of constant communication through multiple methods, but also then have the outbound communication to your global membership housed in one place. So it allows you that kind of freedom without having too much chaos, so that you're still reachable, but the important stuff is still actually housed somewhere. So hopefully that makes sense. Kind of allows that little bit more balance. So the key principle really within this, before I clarify how you can, I suppose, even use that, because all you guys are currently using our system. So it's like, how can we actually apply it, which is what I'm going to go into in a second. But whichever you are of the previous two, it's just, I think the biggest thing is clarity. Tell people where to contact you. Like literally send them out an email and tell them exactly where you want them to contact you from now on. You can literally tell them what channel is for what, if you want to be that anywhere person. If you want them to say cancellations, if you want all cancellations sent to email, tell them. It just makes it really clear. If you want any ad hoc questions, tell them message us in LegitFit and we'll respond within 24 hours. That just makes it a really clear black and white. And that's the clarity for both you and the member that's going to give you those evenings back, because that's generally where it gets lost, when people don't know. So it's good to even re-emphasize that with them once in a while as well. So, and a bonus point on that is like you end up stopping missing leads. For anybody who does actually have to follow up like speed to lead, it is a case of you won't miss anything then, because all your members are actually messaging you in one specific place. So you know if anything comes in the evening, it's like, oh, this is actually going to make me money. I'm happy to take the call. You know, if a call is going to make you 200 quid, you're more than happy to jump on it. So just keep that in mind. Okay, next one. So just to put it into actual action, and I'll keep these really simple and really quick because I'm conscious I've already talked for a while. But the one system, please, is very much that type one owner. It could be as simple as encourage all your members, like send out a communication, encourage all members, hey, direct messages, all of those go one-to-one in LegitFit. That way I keep all the information in one place and I don't fail to respond to you. You know, that makes it easy for them to be like, oh, I'll get an answer if I respond here, or if I message them here. If it's a global email, it's like, cool, I can do that through LegitFit. I'll keep everything in that one place and it gets sent out to as many people as I have on my account. So again, it keeps it really simple. There's no more exporting different systems or trying to use Zaps to set up onto MailChimp and then back and forth, unless you want to do that. Again, no issues. And then community announcements, just quick messages. So it's like so everything stays in that kind of like one system. So you can essentially log off at the end of that night. That's that one system when you actually put it into practice. Whereas that type 2, if I can click to it here, that type 2 is very much a case of like, you can still reach me anywhere, keep your DMs, WhatsApp notifications on for quick personal contact, if that's what you choose. And then you can still have everything else anchored in terms of announcements, class updates, and challenges all in the other place. So you're now differentiating and making it clear which types of communication go where. Because again, it still is clarity of which goes where, more so than anything. But it's not really about forcing you to centralize at that point. It's just providing more clarity for you in the types of communication where and when. So hopefully all of that part makes sense as well. And then I think I had one last slide. Oh, that is it. Cool. I clicked on one, not on the other. But I think the 4 things you can do here really is like decide what type of owner that you are. Because if you want those evenings back, you really do have to be deliberate with the communication. Like to provide a 5-star service, it's like communication has to be clear above all else. It's like when people don't know where they're to go, they're just going to go with whatever the easiest option for them is. And the easiest option for them might be the most difficult for you. So again, you want to try and make your life easy by being more clear with them, and just teach them where to go, simply put, because you're going to get better communication and your evenings back as a result of just doubling down on that with them, you know? So hopefully all that makes sense. It just highlights the clarity in which ways you can break up the communication, how you can even use the systems you already have there to do that, or even just a different way to think about it. But I'll stop talking. and I'll pass it off to Emma next, who is not my relation in any way, shape, or form, even though she does have a second name. So I'll pass it off to her.
Thanks so much, Shane Walsh. Yeah, I'm Emma Walsh. Again, no relation. I'm the CS Projects and Enablement Specialist at LegitFit, so it's absolutely lovely to meet you. I will be cracking on with, Shane gave you some context about the type of owner you want to be in terms of communication, and I'm going to show you how you can use the LegitFit app to actually take out the manual work of those retention messages that you want to get out. But actually, before I forget, if anybody has any questions for Shane and what he spoke about, you can pop it in the chat, and then Shane can give you a very thoughtful answer back after the call. So our next play really is all about nurturing and then staying in touch with clients before they drift away. This is something, we see all the time. New clients join, they might buy a Kickstarter pack, and then they vanish. You get busy, they get busy, and before you know it, they've actually dropped off. And this is what we call silent churn, right? So we looked at LegitFit's data across our clients and found that LegitFit clients who use automated messaging see a 26% increase in their bookings. So this is an incredible motivation to actually figure out how to do this retention play within the app. And retention, when we say retention, we're just talking about consistent contact. That's all it means. If clients feel looked after, they'll stay. It's like what Shane alluded to earlier. People aren't going to leave because they absolutely hate your business and they love the one that's kind of equal parts to the east. It's not that. They just leave maybe because nobody nudged them at the right moment, and a competitor did nudge them at that right moment. So in order to complete the next couple of messages, you don't need to be a copywriter or a marketing pro. You just need 3 small touch points of a message. So this is for a brand new client. They need 1, a friendly welcome message, right? Here's how to start. They need 2, a gentle nudge. Hey, I haven't seen you yet. And then they need 3, a final check-in if they still have not booked, right? They need a, do you need help booking? And what's great is I'm going to show you exactly how to build this in LegitFit so it's self-running. So you can write these 3 messages, which we're calling the nurture sequence. You can write them yourself, or you can use ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you exactly on the app. But all you have to do is copy and paste this exact prompt that I have on the slide and put it into ChatGPT. So this will give you 3 of those short, friendly messages designed for people who've joined your gym, they've signed up, but they haven't made a booking yet. So the messages will already sound personal because we're using the double curly brackets first name and double curly brackets organization. So this is an automated customization field, right? So it'll come, hey, Emma, hey, Shane. So the messages will really come off as if you wrote them yourself. And ChatGPT with this prompt will also space them naturally 5 to 7 days apart, which is what we have found works best for new members who haven't actually started with you yet. And once you've got your 3 short messages, that's it. You've got your nurture flow content, and then you're just going to paste it straight into LegitFit. And as Jash mentioned, we are going to follow up with a playbook of everything that we've spoken about already. And I'm just showing you this overview of this is what I'm going to follow up with after the call. I've laid out exactly the timing of the message that's going to be sent out, what's triggering it, what's the reason for this message, and what's the actual message that's going to be sent out. And you can take this and, of course, edit it for your business. But again, I'll send this to you after. Now, what this actually looks like in LegitFit, you will pop over to messages, automated, create automated message, and you'll set a name which is just for yourself. This one's called the new customer nurture. So 7 days after a client has been added to the system, and if they have never attended a session, so that's your filter and your trigger, they will then receive this email. And the email is, your Kickstarter waits. Hey, first name, welcome to organization. We noticed you haven't booked your first session yet. No worries, it happens. Our Kickstarter package is the easiest way to get moving. It's a 6-week PT. Grab your spot now at the link below. Can't wait to see you in the gym. And what's great is you can actually link directly to the package or membership that you're talking about. So in this case, I've linked the 6-week Kickstarter small group PT package. And if they still haven't booked with you 5 days later, and if they have still never attended a session, then you're sending another email that says, you're 1 class away from momentum. Hey, first name, just checking in from organization. How's your week going? We're running a small group PT taster this week on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for new members who haven't booked yet. It's a relaxed way to meet the team. Purchase this 1 class pass for only €12 now. Trust me, once you get the first session done, everything else feels easier. Link to 1 class taster small group PT pack. And if they still haven't booked with you 7 days later, if they have never attended a session, they'll get another email saying, want help picking your first class? Hey, first name, we've noticed you haven't started training yet and just wanted to check in. If you're unsure where to begin or what fits your goals, feel free to browse the timetable on LegitFit. And I've just linked the little 6-week Kickstarter there as another little nudge and reminder of something that they could move on to as their next step. Click create. And now you can see the overview that's turned on, and you can see who was the recipient when it's triggered, when it was sent, and if it was read. So what's great is you can keep an eye on this when that's complete, you can keep an eye on the insights that you're really seeing. So look at which email is being the most successful. Or is that initial message 1 actually getting sent out, and the message 2 and 3 aren't being triggered because it's really good and people are purchasing and booking in straight away after message 1? Or is your nurture sequence for everyone that's receiving it, sending 1, 2, and 3, nobody's converting, nobody's purchasing, you're going to have to rewrite your message maybe, right? So really keep an eye on that and fine tune it for your business. But then that's it. We're talking about the importance of why retention matters, and you can be constantly retaining and talking to them completely automated, which is great. So you can think about the journey of your customer and play with the different types of triggers and filters in the app, and you can set up multiple nurture sequences. So I'm giving you some homework, don't hate me. Your 1 job this week, set up 1 nurture sequence for your members who haven't booked yet or haven't booked for the next 7 days. So step 1, you write your sequence or use my sexy ChatGPT prompt. 2, use our LegitFit setup guide to actually build it. So you will get the video that I just walked through, but there's also a lot of resources on our new, totally revamped knowledge base on the support center, which if you haven't had the chance to look, take a look. It's been my baby for the last couple of months. And step 3, as I already mentioned, really pay attention to your clients' insights. Don't just one and done, because I think refining the message is where you're really likely to win the most, I would say. So that's how you practically put in play all of Shane's advice and knowledge from working with all of the LegitFit clients.